So let's create variables and let's basically delve deeper into programming Unity. Okay, so let's create another script. Go to C# script and I'm just going to call this as uh, distance interaction. Okay, distance interaction. Okay, so let's double click. Okay, so we have a distance interaction script. So if you are seeing this video without watching the previous tutorial 6 video, please watch the tutorial 6 video first because you won't understand what I'm doing if you haven't watched this, if you haven't watched the previous video, okay? Alright, so I'm going to create variables. So there are many kinds of variables inside of Unity, but I'm going to kind of give you some of the basics, okay? So Unity has these features. You can store numbers, for example, using integers, okay? This is a variable type, and I'm just going to say int a, for example, right? Believe in me, we're just going to put something called public in here. Public means what? Show this variable within Unity. If I make it private, what's private in English? Private is secret, right? So Unity will not see this variable. But for now, I'm going to make it public, okay? All right, so let's say public int a, and let's see this within Unity, all right? So mine's running automatically. If you don't, press Command R to refresh. Now I'm just going to drag my component inside of my character, and as you can see, I immediately have this variable called a. Can I make, so int is what? Int is called integer, and integer does not include decimals, okay? Integer does not include decimals. They're just whole numbers, right? So let's say I put 5.5. I cannot even do 5.5. I cannot press the points because a is an integer. I can only put whole numbers, even negative numbers as well, okay? And then I can kind of, edit my variables. So, pretty simple, right? Let's put a thing called float b. Float is the decimal, okay? Float is the decimal. So let me just save this, go to Unity, refresh, and automatically it's going to give me, it's loading, b. So I can put 0.5, I can use these decimal points finally. It's pretty simple, right? Alright, so I can put public string c. String is what? Like text. A text, like A, B, C, D. You can also put character for one letter, for taking in one letters, like A, B, C, or special character like exclamation mark. But I'm just going to put string, okay? Alright, so let's go to Unity. See if there's any errors. No errors. C, okay? String does include numbers because numbers are considered as text, right? I can also put hello world, or I can put like my name is Brian, and I can just set this in, okay? Alright, so I'm going to show you a cool feature. I said my name is Brian. Go to Atom, and we're just going to print the same thing, debug, log, and I'm just going to print C. Okay, I'm going to print C. Always put this mark, semicolon. Semicolon is like the period in an English sentence. You're basically trying to say, hey, this is the end of my sentence. This is the end of my first action, my first command. Okay, so always put semicolon. If I don't, Unity will give me an error. For example, something expected, right? Semicolon expected. Now I have a bunch of these 999 plus hello worlds. I'm just going to clear. As you can see, it only gives me the error. If I double click, I know where it's heading. I can put a semicolon here. Now we rerun this, and it will give me a clear picture. Okay, so I said my name is Brian. Let's see how the console interacts. Okay, my name is Brian, hello world. My name is Brian, hello world. What's going on? I didn't put hello world in my script, right? Well, that's because I have my hello world script inside my components. So you are now seeing how two components are interacting in a single character, right? You're seeing two scripts or two components running at the same time. Well, it's not limited to only these guys. It's all of these components. All of these components are running at the same time. Rigid bodies, a thing called rigid body, capsule collider, rigid body first person controller, hello world, distance interaction, all of them are running at the same time. Okay, so you can see how these things interact with each other. Okay, so I'm just going to remove hello world, but as you can see, it says my name is Brian. That means what? It's printing the value of the variable C. Okay, let's change another one. Hi. Go to, and let's try and run this, okay? I don't even have to edit my script. And it says hi. Can you see that? Can you see how it's interacting? Alright, so this is how you can print variables. Now, it doesn't end there. We can control our variables. For example, let's say I print B, right? Then this value 2.3 is going to appear, but I can also add an operation, another command. B is equal to, now the variable B is equal to itself, but I'm just going to add 1. Okay, so as it's updating, B is going to add 1 from itself. So what does that mean? B is going to increase in 1 every single time the function update is called. Can you see that? Another way that you can kind of express this is to say B plus equals 1.0. It's the same function, but why is this operator, why does this exist? Well, that's because this is redundant. As you can see, B is equal to B. Well, yeah, of course, we know that we're trying to add B for itself, so we create another new operation. This is called plus equals. It removes the redundancy of calling this variable twice. And actually, this is much more faster than this command in a computer. So I'm just going to set up as B plus equals 1.0, just to make my code more efficient. Okay? No. Okay. Whew. Alright, so cannot implicitly convert type double to float. We have an error right here, right? I'm just gonna say 1. Okay, let's see how this goes, because I'm not going to go and give you advanced features called casting, but let's see how this goes. Okay, no errors, so don't put 1.0, and we're not going to care about the funky error. So let's see how this runs. So as you can see, the number increases by 1, but it's super fast, right? It's super fast that you're kind of seeing this timer effect, right? Okay. Now I'm just going to give you a more advanced feature. Let's try and actually control the stuff in our game, okay? Like these goodies, like the obstacles, the cubes, the spheres, right? Our controllers. Let's actually control those guys, right? So in order to do that, we're going to delete all of our variables, and we're going to create a new variable. This is called GameObject. Now GameObject is a variable type where you can put these game objects. These are all of these are game objects. So you can interact with these game objects as soon as you put this variable type. For example, game object A. I'm just going to say A, right? Always. Sorry, debug.log, and I'm just going to print A. See how this goes, okay? If I put an error, then it's an error. So All right, always forget, put the semicolon. End of sentence, right? So it gives me now a new thing. It's called a warning, okay? It says A is never assigned to anything. It's an empty, right? Computers hate empty stuff. That's basically doable. Now, nothing appears in our distance interaction script. Why? That's because we haven't put the public. So always put the public, okay? So as soon as we put the public, it should appear right here. Okay, so I can now drag and drop anything. Let's say cube. I can drag and drop cube. Now what's cube? Now double click. Oh, it's this. It's this big plane. Okay. Let's try and print this. Ooh, it talks about cube. Okay, it gives me a default name. Okay, we can do much better stuff. And I'm going to show you that in the next video because this video is getting a lot longer. All right.